The multiverse is a massive place, but we really don't know much about it. As of the recording right now, which is January 14th, we still don't really have an arc that explores the multiverse. Now, we do have a few where they're heavily correlated with the multiverse. There's the Goku Black arc, although that takes place mostly in Universe 7 with the Universe 7 characters. Then there's a Universe 6 tournament, which takes place on a random tournament ground with only a few characters. And then there's a Tournament of Power, which does have a lot of multiverses, but not all of them, and most of them are just fodder fighters, and it takes place in a random tournament arena in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, we have gotten a bit of the multiverse, but is that really all? That's all we have right now for 12 universes? I mean, surely there could be more that we could explore, right? Well, that's what we're here to discuss today. I'm going to mainly be talking about the potential of what other stories we could see in these multiverses, as well as how I think this could happen, why I think it's important, and why I'm pretty displeased with Dragon Ball's world building so far, specifically Dragon Ball Super, especially given all that we've been introduced to so far. To start this off, I think it's really ideal to talk about the elephant in the room, Universe 6. So yeah, we've explored a good amount of Universe 6, but mainly we've really just seen people that we've already seen. I mean, there's Frost, who is just Frieza, there's the Saiyans, there's Saiyans, not really anything too new or interesting. And then there's Hit, who got hyped up really quickly and then tossed aside just as quickly. Of course, there are others, but these are the big ones. Yeah, we have seen a bit of Sadala too, but mainly focused on those three Saiyans. And if anything, I feel like Universe 6 is a great example of what I'm trying to talk about. We have so much potential for these universes, but I feel like Dragon Ball Super is trying to play it too safe. You could do literally anything with these universes. Most are completely unexplored. We've only seen a fraction of what these universes have to offer. Hell, we've barely even scratched the surface with Universe 7 so far too. But I won't really be focusing too much on that because I want to talk about the other universes. And Universe 6 is a great example because all we've seen so far is mostly stuff we've kind of seen in Universe 7 already. Yeah, we have seen different alien species, but what do we really know about them? Yeah, Hit is an alien from a species we haven't seen before, but that's not the main focus of him. If you look at the people who get the most focus, outside of Hit, it's people that we already have. Frost, he's basically just Frieza. The Universe 6 Saiyans, we have enough Saiyans in the story already. Even Champa. Now, I'm not complaining about the fact that these two universes are similar. That's the whole point, they are twin universes after all. But I'm more so interested in the fact that we haven't really seen anything from this universe besides stuff that we've already gotten in Universe 7 to some extent so far. And that's why I think it's exemplary of what I'm trying to say. Super is playing it too safe with the world building and everything. They could do so much with Universe 6 even. We already haven't explored a bit, it is decently established, and we even have reasons for our main protagonist to even go there soon, as well as a means for them to do so. But still, we haven't really gotten anything of interest. Which is part of the reason why I feel like people are so displeased with the Universe 6 Saiyans. Some people love them, but a lot of people hate them. I'm not here to try to change your opinion on that, but what I am here to say is that maybe a new story involving Universe 6 will actually help this. Give them some time to shine, give them more development. Give us a reason to care about these characters more than we already do. And if everything I just said, that's just Universe 6. That's one of the universes that we've seen so far, out of 12. 12 total universes. We've barely seen any of them. Sure, we did see a couple people in the Tournament of Power, but let's be honest. They were just there as fodder fighters. They're just there to fill out the arena so we have 80 people. Most of the focus was only on a fraction of those people. Now, don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm not saying that every character should have had some deep character arc that we should all be invested in. No, I didn't expect that from the Tournament of Power. I'm just saying that these universes are basically clean slates right now. We know barely anything about them. Whether it's the gods of destruction, the people that live there, the kind of planets are there, the villains, whatever. So, besides exploring Universe 6, what other universes could we explore in the future? We did see a bit of Universe 10, but that was mainly just the gods. Gowasu, Zamasu, and yeah, that's basically it. We saw the other gods, but they didn't really do much of interest. How about Universe 3? We saw a bit of that. Well, that's still kind of a clean slate too. We know it's a very technologically advanced universe, but we don't know much about it beyond that. Universe 2? We kind of got introduced to their culture and what the people are like there. But still, mostly a clean slate. And then there's one of the universes that interests me the most, Universe 11. This is still kind of a clean slate, but compared to all the other universes, it's the one that we explored the most outside of Universe 6, obviously. The planets seem pretty interesting. They're technologically advanced, but there's always monsters attacking. It's like they're living in the middle of a comic book. Granted, Dragon Ball's like that regardless, but Universe 11 has a culture that's surrounded by superheroes. It could be really interesting to explore more of that. Oh wait, we already are getting a movie about superheroes. Well, you know what I mean. We got introduced to some pretty interesting characters from Universe 11. Well, at least in my eyes. I know a lot of people don't like Jiren, but I feel like there's a lot of potential there in terms of building him with a story. There's also the rest of the Pride Troopers. Conceptually, I find them pretty interesting, and I like their personalities too, not to mention the gods of that universe, which also does include Toppo. Hell, maybe we can even get a story with him in the future. There's so much untapped potential here, and I've barely scratched the surface of 2 universes so far. Remember, 12 total. Include Universe 7 in that, and that's 9 other universes that we barely know anything about. Even in the Tournament Power, 4 of them were barely present. I mean, we saw the gods there, but it's not like anyone cared about them. Again, I didn't expect the Tournament of Power to flesh these people out. I'm saying that these universes are completely clean slates. We know nothing. For some universes, we essentially know 0 about them. And besides the fact that the potential is there for a great story or something, there's also a huge amount of potential for world building and a lot of lore added to the story. So let's talk about world building first. I feel like this has kind of been a problem in Super. I mean, ever since we got introduced to aliens and space travel, it's kind of been there in Z, but not to this extent. With Universe 7, we've seen how big this universe is and how much potential there is for stories there. And even then, this universe isn't fully explored yet. We still know so little about the universe. And if that's what it's like for Universe 7, that same effect can apply to the other universes, but amplified to a much larger level. There's so much that could be done here for world building, introducing new species, new factions, new villains, new heroes, new story arcs, new lore. There is limitless potential. And yet, what have we gotten so far? I'm not trying to say that these arcs are bad or anything. I'm just saying that all we've gotten so far is stuff that's related to things we already know about. I mean, we got Broly, which that was pretty isolated, and the only lore Broly affected was the stuff with the Saiyans, which we already got enough of. We got Resurrection F, which is Frieza doing Frieza things. We've got Moro, which I will give them this gave the most exploration of any Dragon Ball arc so far, although it was still very minute. Which is kind of what I mean. We saw so many different alien species, and we got to explore a lot of different planets in this arc, but it was barely touched upon, although it's nice to have it still. And then there's Granola, which again connected to the Saiyans, and Frieza, just like Broly. Then we got 2 tournaments, the Goku Black arc, which didn't really build upon lore too much, outside of some stuff with Zamasu and the Kais. And then there's Battle of Gods, so that actually provided a good amount of lore, and Moro kind of did too, but yeah, we don't really have much in terms of that. And again, this is all just for Universe 7. We have so much other universes to explore that could probably provide some pretty interesting lore for everything in the story so far. A great idea would be explore more about the gods. We know barely anything about them, and it would probably be really interesting to learn more about them. Instead of them just being mythical figures that don't really do anything, we could actually see what it's like. Learn more about how they got their job, have an arc involving them, make them actual characters. Even Beerus and Champa, the ones we know about most, we still know so little about. The lore potential there is insane. But besides the fact that there's a huge amount of world building potential there, the stories would also be very natural and sensible. I mean, think about it. Like I mentioned, a lot of the stories that take place in Universe 7 are stuff that is just there that we didn't know about. Broly, he was just there lying under the radar for so long. Moro, he just randomly got a power-up. Well, not randomly, but you know what I'm saying. Granola, not strong before, randomly gets a power-up. At this point, with how strong everyone is in the story, it's kind of unnatural to just introduce a villain that laid low for so long and is somehow strong enough to contend with people like Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, and all those others. And as of the recording of this video, Dragon Ball Super Superhero still isn't out yet, and I'm assuming it's going to be more of that, because it is involving the Red Ribbon Army, so creating new robots to fight these people. And just like I mentioned with the other arcs, that story is probably going to be a similar case, because it's mostly Earth-focused, and it's using a faction that we already know about, the Red Ribbon Army. But I'm digressing, so let's go back to what I'm talking about. We could have an actual villain pop up that was somewhere else in another universe, which would explain why we haven't heard about them before, which gives a reason for them being so strong but also unnoticed for so long. But not just that either. Besides the fact that it makes the power much more natural, there's also the fact that we could have much more interesting fights. I mean, imagine a fight taking place in another universe on some alien planet. You probably can't imagine anything, right? Because we haven't seen much of it yet. That's because these universes are 100% clean slates. There's so much that we could do with them. You can create any kind of unique planets, any kind of unique settings, whatever. There's essentially no rules here. You could have Goku and Vegeta fighting some new alien species on a brand new planet with an environment like we've never seen before, with a completely unique story arc as well. As I briefly mentioned before, the Moro arc did kind of touch upon this. We saw alien planets, but we didn't really see too much of them. And seeing all these different people made me think, why can't we see more of this? Why can't we have it actually involved and important in the story somehow? And most importantly, why does it just have to be Universe 7? Why do we have to limit it to that? I'm sure you're also probably thinking, well, this story isn't focused on these universes. It's focused on the main characters like Goku, Vegeta, and everyone like that. And yeah, that is true, but you could still have a compelling story that involves them and lets them develop and showcase themselves without having to be tied to the Saiyans of Universe 7 somehow. It all essentially comes down to good writing. You just need a good story with a good concept and a good antagonist. Someone that could bounce off the other characters well. Like Toppo and Vegeta, for example, or Goku and Jiren. I know a lot of people will disagree with me when I say that, but I got a whole video about Jiren in the works, so keep an eye out for that. Or an even better example, Goku, Vegeta, and Granola. But unlike him, you don't need a villain that's tied to the Saiyans. You can have someone completely unique, as long as you can have something that's interwoven into the story and important to the characters somehow, which is essential to any good story. It's literally just a matter of good and creative writing. That's all they need here. It can create for some awesome interactions between characters too. I mean, even think about the ones that we currently know of, like Goku and Jiren, for example. Maybe a rematch between them, a discussion of ideals between them. See how Jiren's grown since the tournament. Vegeta meeting Kappa again, going to Universe 6 and visiting Sadala. Broly meeting Kale. Seeing interactions between and with the Goddess of Destruction. Learning more about them and their backstory. There's so much great potential for character interactions just there alone. Just with pre-established characters that we already know about. And even better, instead of just having a story take place in one universe, why not one that takes place across universes like Universe 6 and 7? They are tied together after all, so why not a story that takes place between the two of them? Or something even bigger like Dragon Ball Heroes did, some sort of multiversal conflict that involves traveling between universes, exploring more of each of them, seeing new characters from each one, learning more about them, learning more lore. It's genuinely amazing that this hasn't been done yet because it's such a clean slate for new things to do. And not even just characters and lore either. We can see new techniques, new powers learned from these universes, new technologies, anything. So overall, I think you get the point. There's a lot of potential in these universes that hasn't been explored yet. It can be tapped into, and it's important for the story to tap into this. It's good for world building, it's good for lore, it's good for creating a natural story. It opens up a lot of potential to be creative. And I know people have a lot of problems with Super, but maybe going forward, this could help solve some of those problems, get people more interested in the characters that we don't know too much about. In terms of the characters that people don't like, well, maybe bring them back, have them do something interesting to make us like them, have us care about them somehow. Create new characters and new stories that aren't already linked to characters that we already know about. World building is important, especially in a story where we have 12 universes and the main one hasn't even been explored too much. Going forward, I hope to see more of this in Dragon Ball Super. It could really help the series. And let's be honest, we know that they love to create as much merchandise as possible, so this would help them in that regard too. I mean, we can get more figures for Random Alien number 11 and stuff like that. But jokes aside, I feel like this could really help. A lot of the issues with Super right now could be fixed by this. Not just with the creating new characters either, but also getting to explore older ones more, giving them more time to shine. Hopefully we see more of this in the future, and hopefully this video doesn't age well. But of course that remains to be seen. So, what did you guys think about this video? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start discussing. I mean, it is a discussion video after all. If you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. It lets me know that you guys want to see more videos like this, and considering it's free and takes a second, it really does help out the channel, so I'd appreciate it. Also, if you haven't already, why not subscribe? As well as hitting the bell icon to be notified about any future uploads on my channel, including more videos like this one. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.